Have you ever thought, wow, this person is asking me a lot of personal questions. They're absolutely none of their bloody business. I sure have. So what can you do about that besides pretending you don't speak English? Or that you're receiving a very important phone call from someone very important? More after the break. Well, hello, it's Jennifer Cramer Lewis here, and welcome to the Audacious Podcast. So what is the Audacious Podcast, you ask yourself? Well, the Audacious Podcast is all about audacious life and living, and doesn't that sound delicious? So what if you didn't actually have to have a problem to ask for more to come into your life? And what would it be like for you to have more than your fair share of everything? More money, more possibilities, more friends, more lovers, more food, more delicious, juicy, delightful, fun times in your life, more vacations, even trips across the world, more profitable clients, more everything. And so that's what the Audacious Podcast is all about. It's asking you to create more in your life and inviting you to that paradigm with inspiration, tips, tricks, and stories to put you in the space and place of creating greater, just for the fun of it. So, what do you do when you experience people who ask you things that you consider none of their bloody business, or want to gossip with you about people that you have no intention of gossiping about, but you're kind of stuck and have no idea how to shut them up and no idea how to not answer or reply without bolting out of the room? Here's my top 3 tips and tools that you can use to keep the nosy Nellies or gossipy Gabbies out of your reality, so that you can get on to the business of enjoying and delighting in your life. Impossible? Let me show you. Tip number 1. What have you decided that you have to do or be for other people so that you are not considered rude? Ever notice that the nosy Nellies or gossipy Gabbies don't have that rule applying to them? Cool, isn't it? What if you could give yourself permission for that I must be nice all the time rule to not apply for you? What could you change then? Not from a space or place of I have to be a hag to those people so they'll leave me alone. More from a place of who can I be that would have all of this change and people would just get it that you're not going to answer invasive questions or engage in gossip. How much energy would that put back in your life that you're spending avoiding or engaging in repartee with people who are energetically a huge waste of your resources and time? I remember being young and having people ask me the weirdest, most inappropriate questions, or trying to get me into conversations that I definitely didn't want to be in. This was back in the days when we listened to self-help gurus on tape in the car on the way to and from work, so we could be the top producers. One woman trainer taught me the best tool that I've ever used in my life, that I teach at basically every 4-day workshop and every VIP program. So here it is. Tool number 1. A question that you could ask back to the invasive askers is, what makes you say that? The secret of the universe is that when you ask them this question, they actually have to examine what they are asking you and back up their rationale for having this information or engaging in this conversation with you. How hilarious and fun is that? One caveat, I did have to practice this in the bathroom mirror until I had it down before I tried it out on other people. Doesn't that sound delicious? What makes you ask that? Another variation is, what makes you say that? This is for when people are gossiping or talking about a topic that you have zero interest in. Often the people just choose to stop talking to you after they have to give you their rationale, because they're more interested in holding you captive with their rantings and not actually having a conversation with you, which is also hilarious. Tip number 2. So what if you get to decide who and what you have in your life at all times for any reason whatsoever? I know! Whoa, Nelly, who would you be if you were the gatekeeper of who gets into your life? A novel concept, right? Not from the space or place of hiding in a cave at the top of a mountain covered in barbed wire and rabid wolves, more from the space and place of awareness of who is really delightful to have a conversation with, who actually wants to talk about the things that engage you, so that the conversation is a joy for the both of you. Tool number 2, a question you can ask is, does this person add to my life? Or, when I'm feeling particularly snarky, is this person coming to my funeral? And then notice what your awareness is. Is it a hard no, or is it a, yes, I think so? You don't have to dump people out of your life. But I can also tell you that the more people that you have in your life that take up space and time and are not truly as generous and thoughtful and kind as you are, or what if they're more kind, your energies and vitality and positivity can start to deplete while they go skipping off feeling like $1,000,000. Not what we used to call a win-win, and now call infinite gifting and receiving. I wonder what your life will be like if you had friends and lovers that were infinitely gifting and receiving from and with you. Feels delicious, doesn't it? When you ask for more of these generous, kind, loving, inspiring people to show up, the quantum particulates of the universe are set in motion to find them for you and bring them to you. Tip number 3. Are you trying to be nice to people who have no business receiving it? I remember thinking, well, they're older. They are friends with this person that I know. Maybe if I just answer a few questions, they'll choose another target. I'll try to endure it now and avoid them later. Ever had those thoughts? What if the very act of being nice to people who are really cringeworthy is counterintuitive? What if you are the nicest person that they've ever met and they decide that they want more time asking you cringy questions? Does that really work for you in the long run? Not to advocate yelling, no, not one more question, weirdo. But you actually could if you gave yourself permission to. What could change? Tool number 3. A question you can ask is, am I trying to be nice here? And who am I being with this nosy Nelly or gossipy Gabby? So many of us get caught in the trap of being nice and polite in the effort to be well thought of. How many of you have ever noticed that there are some people that never suffer the effects of rude or obnoxious people? What if you were one of those people in a way that works for you? Would you be willing to say or be the energies of, this conversation doesn't work for me, and divert it into a conversation that does? I recently was out with friends and the subject of certain people in politics came up, and it changed what was until then a really friendly, chatty, and playful conversation into something super heavy and not fun for me. I had the moxie to say, well, this conversation is heavy AF. Somebody tell me a joke instead. The turnaround happened in less than 3 seconds, and then we were talking about someone's relative who's in politics and is a lovely person who really wants to do well and has the skill set to make it happen. A conversation that was light, hopeful, and expansive. What if you are the person who can always change the elements of your life, your conversations, your friendships and relationships? What if you gave yourself permission? What could change then? I wonder. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to ask. So if you love this podcast, if you found the information valuable, please subscribe and hit the notification tab so you know when we're live again. This podcast comes out weekly and sometimes even more than that. So we look forward to having fun with you, having your business be more audacious and more profitable than you ever thought possible. Thank you so much. My name is Jennifer Cramer Lewis, and this is the Audacious Podcast. See you again soon.